We had a little bit about what happened to Sarah on that fateful night. Just tell us a little bit about her as well, why she was here in the UK and what she was doing.
Well, she planned with her oldest brother a trip of a lifetime, which he'd also done 2 years prior. She wanted to go and see the world. She wanted to go to London because it was like one of the fashion capitals of the world, and she had an au pair family. She was looking after 2 little boys for 3 months and then travelling on to Europe. And then we were meeting her in Paris in 27 sleeps. That was the last thing she said to me.
So on that night,
yes.
You had a FaceTime call with her like
yes.
you did most nights,
yes.
and she was in great spirits.
She was the happiest she'd ever been. She was doing all the things 21-year-olds should do. Before you have children, before you get into your career, before you do all those things, I encouraged her, we all did, to do it now because otherwise you have to wait until you're like 50. So, yes, she was really happy and we were just counting down the days to see her, so excited to have a family holiday, meeting her in Paris on the 30th of June.
Mark, one of the cruel coincidences of that night was that you, as a family, thought that she was in. You thought that she was looking after the children of the family that she was au pairing for, so...
Yeah, Sarah was working that night, but that changed and there were a lot of things that changed to lead Sarah to be where she was. So from having the night off and then contacting a girlfriend to say, well, let's go out. And it was something where when she went out, she wanted to get all dressed up and go somewhere classy. That's what she was saying. That, and, yeah, they were going to Soho. That was the first point where they were going to go, but then that changed and then it led a few more different sliding doors and then she ended up to be where she was.
So it meant that for a long time you didn't actually know.
No,
in the beginning, you wouldn't have feared that she could even have been caught up in something like this. But then it took a long time to find out that actually...
It certainly did. So the next morning for us, Sunday morning, we were contacted by a friend of ours to say, oh, you know, Jules, have you heard there's been another attack? And for us, it was just something where, well, OK, that happens on the other side of the world and it's happened again. But there was no thought of Sarah ever being involved. And even to the point where when, I guess, things started to escalate for us in the next 24 hours, there was always that thought that it couldn't be Sarah. And
she was too sporty and athletic and she had so much common sense and she was streetwise and all the things. So, no, it never added up.
Yeah, and we flew to London under the proviso, we're going, Sarah was a missing person. You know, we didn't know that she had been killed. We were coming to find her.
So it's you land and suddenly it becomes apparent, because I think you got a text message and you found out that...
my son, yeah. We were actually stopping down to refuel in Abu Dhabi and she was a missing person and my eldest son rang and said, Mum, the DNA results prove that Sarah's dead. And I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I was actually on the plane with my seatbelt on and I couldn't breathe. I was just buckled over and I just went into shock. So they wanted to get it on the 6 o'clock news. So we were actually the last ones to find out in the world that she died. And it was really horrible circumstances to find out that way.
Because you've then got to fly, of course, to get to London to try and understand what on earth has happened.
It was horrendous. It's just like, I felt like I was having a heart attack. It was terrible.
You're back now, 2 years later, for the inquest, and having to hear the details and go over them must be an extremely difficult experience. Have you found anything in the last couple of weeks that has given you hope, that has been in any way a comfort to you?
Got a little bit more understanding about Sarah's movements. Metro Police have been incredible. They've supported us from day one. We've had them in our home last October and just in April to share the information. So they shared everything to us prior to it coming public in the courts, which was fantastic. But I guess, just working through the courts, it's raw emotion again for us. It's bringing back the event. But I guess now that we've gone through that and Sarah's been dealt with through the inquest, there is a little bit of closure there for us.
Yeah, and of course you're setting up a charity because it's
we've set up a
so important for you to do something in her name.
Yeah, tell us about it, Julie.
Yeah, so it's called SARS Sanctuary and we've opened a not-for-profit trauma healing retreat. And so we're registered as a not-for-profit charity in the UK as well as here. And one of our main events is called Meet You in Paris. So we were meant to meet Sarah on the 30th of June 2017, which we couldn't. And so now it's an annual event. So we've got about 50 riders riding from Borough Markets, where she was killed, to Eiffel Tower in Paris, and that'll take about 7 days. So that's one of our big fundraisers for our charity, and we want to offer a 5-day healing retreat program for people. So they come in and they can have holistic healing. So they can do like yoga, mindfulness, meditation, massage, kinesiology, Reiki, organic food. And it's a personal journey when you have shock, sudden death, grief. And so you can choose to do as much or as little as you need, depending on how you feel.
It must be...
here as well, we're doing it.
An amazing thing, Mark, to know that Sarah's legacy is going to be this. It's going to be helping people and families that have been through similar things.
Yes.
Definitely, it's planning that we're looking at way beyond us. You know, we're looking at 50 to 100 years plus to give back to people because, you know, Sarah can't die in vain. We need to find a positive out of what's happened here. And we're also, you know, support for the other 7 families of that attack and then the first responders.
Yes,
so,
we met them. They were beautiful.
We definitely want to give back to first responders with SARS Sanctuary. So it's
that they need help so they can continue doing the great work they do.
Which is crucial.
Because there's not much out there for them.
And SARS was the nickname that you had for her, so that's SARZ.
So yes, SARS, it's like that.
Oh, you've got her name tattooed on your
Yeah, and Mark does it on his hand as well.
So she's always with you?
Always. Yeah, she's guiding us to do this. She wants me to do that. I'm very spiritual now and I feel her in my heart every day.
Amazing.
So we just signed Monty up to the bike ride.
Is he going to come with you?
Great.
Amazing.
And with this being televised, we've got a lot of people sending us off. Yeah,
It's a 7-day event. He said he'd do the full 20 minutes.
He'll do all the iconic parts, leaving London.
That's Monty for you. And it'll be in Paris when you arrive to welcome you down there as well as the
a lot of people like the Paris Gala dinner part. Not Middleborough.
It's going to be a fabulous sort of testament to her and to your spirit as well, driving forward. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing your story. It's a really difficult time, of course, but it's really, really lovely to meet you both. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
So the charity is SARS Sanctuary, and we will put a link to it on our website.